Ben Doughty for Glenn Okolie's Voice of Boxing. I'm delighted to be joined here by brother of Dillian Whyte, Dean. How are you doing today?
I'm good, I'm excellent. How are you doing?
I'm very good too. There was an interesting situation here today because there's been a well-known online beef between Dillian and Lawrence Okolie, emanating from sparring videos and claims and such. And I only caught the end of it, but you appear to have come today, amongst other things, to say, listen, we shouldn't let this thing escalate into any kind of silliness, and we should all be professional and handle things the way they should be handled.
Exactly.
Would you explain?
Exactly, that's all it was really. I just thought I'd have a word, calm the storm before it gets out of control. Dillian will be in attendance come Saturday night.
Yes.
Lawrence will be fighting. When the fight is over, I'm sure Dillian is a man that wears his heart on his sleeve, and he will confront Lawrence.
He said he was going to.
Yep. So what I'm saying is I want the best of my bro. So, I'm going to come and try and calm it down a bit, have a word with him, and hopefully he doesn't talk out of turn. You're a man, talk as you feel, but just a little bit of advice. You don't have to take it, but just have a little bit of advice, when you're confronted with him. You don't need to back down from your stance. All you need to say is, I'm a man, I'm confident, I'm a fighter, and you're a fighter. I believe I could beat you if you fought. Fair enough. But it's you leading on and letting out the tapes that was an annoyance and continuing. So when you're confronted, I'm hoping you can just speak in a certain fashion that doesn't light the flame.
It's not incendiary.
Yeah, it doesn't light the flame. And hopefully I'll be there to say to Dill, I spoke to him already, and, it is what it is. Let's just try and let it go, because you're in a different place to him. You don't need to come down to his level. Not being disrespectful to him. He's just started his journey. So, you don't need to lower yourself to that he's clout chasing, as a lot of people would say.
Yeah.
You don't need to be there. You're an elite fighter. You're right there at the top with these boys, and he's on his journey. Just let it ride a little bit. Man up, go and confront him as you wish, but just let it slide out,
I did hear you saying in the other interview, you said, I will try and impress that upon him. He's his own man. You actually said he's a lunatic. I can only make suggestions.
And that is true. He is, listen, you've seen it over the years. Yeah. He wears his heart on his sleeve. If you say something to him, he will come and confront people and pull you up on what you're saying, and he'd want to, get your answer. And when I say a lunatic, I say in a little bit of jest also, because he's a sensible man, because he manages himself and he's got himself with the advisor and the people that's backed him and myself, and he's got himself to this position, not because he's a psychopath, but, because he's a clear thinking minded person also. So, it's just one of those ones that I said it in just because I know a lot of people know he is a feisty man. He's a man, like I said, who wears his heart on his sleeve, and he will confront a confrontation with confrontation. So,
as far as Dillian's next move goes and his career trajectory at the minute, a lot of people who are not really privy to the intricacies of the business seem to believe he'd made a mistake by not going with the initial offer of an April the 13th shot at 3/4 of the heavyweight championship of the world. You have an opinion?
No, yes. You know what? Everyone wants to fight for the world title. That is true. You go your whole career, but at the same time, it is a business also. Just the same with Joshua and Wilder in their discussions. But it's a little bit different because Wilder's got 1 belt and Joshua's got 3 belts. But at the same time, it's the figures. It's still the figures. One wants more. One's the A side. One wants a little bit more. Dillian, on the other hand, has earned his title shot. He is a pay-per-view standalone fighter himself. He's doing great numbers. He's making good figures, $1 million figures in his own right, by himself. So to offer 4 or 5 million and then go and offer Miller 8 million makes no sense. Especially as he's not achieved nothing Dillian does. He doesn't bring the standing Dillian does to the table in terms of pay-per-view and history. Nothing. The value isn't there. So Dillian done the right thing because he knows his worth, and that figure was just not enough. And that's what I think about that.
There was talk recently that Dillian might follow Tyson Fury to ESPN and Top Rank with some kind of corporation, although that doesn't appear to have moved forward just yet.
Well, I can't answer that clearly because obviously I saw it in the media just like you. I think I've been away quite a lot. I came back Monday, and then before I was in LA and Vegas and so on. So I've been away quite a lot. But I believe ongoing negotiations are still going on, and there are quite a few other various people who are interested in maybe who he's talking to. So one way or the other, we're going to have some answers shortly. But ESPN top rank, you know, Tyson Fury went there and he got a phenomenal deal. I don't blame him. He come back. He's done a great job, Tyson Fury as well. Yeah. He beat Deontay Wilder as far as I'm concerned. And I'm sure most people. And now he come back and got an 80 million, 85 million deal. So listen, he's on top of the world. He can go and bloody fight whoever he wants. Call Paddy the Pac-Man, the dustbin driver, to come in, get a few rounds of him. You know what I mean? That's probably one of his fights. Who knows? If Dillian takes that same route, good luck to him. And, you know, these guys deserve the figures, you know, what they're getting. And they need to be paid what they're worth. That 5 million is nowhere near the worth. So, you know, if it is ESPN and they offer a huge sum and he goes that way, he deserves it.
Yeah, and if it's ESPN, you know, a multi-fight deal, presumably, whether it's to fight Tyson Fury at some point or not.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be, because obviously if you've got two top Brits, they would kind of mix it up somewhere in that would be one of the fights. I'd assume. I don't know the negotiations, but I'd assume it would be somewhere along those lines. You know, you'll have a couple of fights here. You know, you lot stablemates should fight each other bloody half a dozen times or 2-3 times. You know, you get the gist anyway. So
how about Wilder?
Wilder, I think they're negotiating with that. I heard Eddie Hearn saying they might sue the WBC, or they're speaking to them, trying to make it that the WBC makes Dillian the mandatory for the winner. But listen, we've seen how the WBC performs. They mandate stuff and they draw back the mandate.
Well,
so
like the Brazil,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They draw back the mandate. So I don't know if you can actually believe them being people of their word. So hey, we just have to wait and see.
But who, in your opinion, is the heavyweight champion of the world? If you had to call one name who you believe is the more legitimate champ than the other two.
Well, in terms of
Fury's got that lineal claim. Sorry.
Yeah. So listen, how I look at it is this: Joshua. I live in the UK, so I'm going to back all my UK fighters most of the time, like 99% of the time. Yeah. Joshua is the champ at the minute. He's got majority of the belts. He's an ambassador. He and my bro Dillian have done great for the UK, bringing it to a very great high place. Tyson Fury, on the other hand, has just come back and he's doing an amazing job in himself, the lineal champ, and he's an exceptional boxer. From what he's come back from to go and fight Deontay Wilder so soon and beat him, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Listen, you got these three guys, dominant forces. But I mean, if you're looking at it in terms of the market and the PR, Joshua's the leading guy, man, as far as I'm concerned. You got Deontay Wilder, he's phenomenal also. What is he, 41-0, is he? What's that now? I believe so, or 48, yeah. Something crazy like that. He's done amazing as well.
Well, Wilder's got to be 40-0 and 1.
Yeah, something crazy like that. But he's still 40.
Third column.
41-0. But what it is he's only beat what's in front of him. You know what I mean? People say about the opponents, he's still knocked them out. Sure. He's won. So we've got to give him his credit. But for me, I think styles makes fights. I've watched Fury fight Wilder, so I think Joshua could do good against Wilder, but then I think Joshua will have a harder time against Fury. Do you know? Because of the stylistically. For sure. So that's how I look at it. And my bro Dillian's in the mix with all of these guys because he's a nightmare for any of them because of his unorthodox style, his unorthodox long hands and stuff going to the body. And he's right at the top with all of these boys, you know?
We will watch and see how it plays out with interest as always.
Exactly.
Dillian Whyte, thanks very much for making yourself available to us at the Voice of Boxing.
Appreciate it.
Maybe see it away in order to fight, and let's hope there's no
unscheduled
fight. Thank you, sir. Cheers.
Appreciate it, yeah. Take care.